Well, okay, how about this? Let's start here. What would your assertion be? What should someone's relationship to the sun be? Like daily exposure, and where should they be exposed, if at all?
I think like for sure you should just put on an SPF whenever you go outside. I think it's just a no-brainer. Like,
Oh, okay.
there's just copious amounts of evidence that people that don't wear SPF and get a sun exposure just look, it just ages their skin way more than if they don't.
So, so which population and like what literature would you have for that? Like, is this just a feeling, or is there like some sort of science?
Science. Dude,
Yeah.
UV rays do damage the skin. That is like mainstream science.
Right. Have you like are you running with hearing that narrative, or have you looked into that yourself and like you understand that biochemistry? Or you're just kind of like, I guess
Can I just not care about the biochemistry? Can I not care?
you could. It would just then be this. It would have your take would have the equivalent validity as a random homeless guy yelling out random things, though. It wouldn't.
I
Like you
don't
have
need
to have.
no no
You
no.
know.
I don't need to know the biochemical process for UV damage. I don't need to know that. I can use my eyes. I can look at people that have worn sunscreen on one part of their body, and it looks like they're like 20 years younger on that part of their body.
And right, you could have observed anecdotes, correct? But then an equivalent example is that would kind of be like me saying, let's say I had an N=1 for my diet. I say, I just feel better with alcohol in the diet. I just feel better. You know what I mean? Like, you can have feelings.
It's not feeling. It's observational reality. We can see people that don't wear sunscreen on their neck, and their neck is like this wrinkly prune, and then their face that did
Right.
get applied with
So
sunscreen
so
looks
again,
20
we
years
would
younger.
we
It's
would then
not.
only be able to make an assertion. Let's say I were to concede, like let's say that's true, then you could only draw that assertion to those living the Western lifestyle. Would you agree with that?
What do you mean living the Western lifestyle?
So
Like, I mean, this would apply to.
having lots of linoleic acid stored in their skin, for example, an easily oxidized oil making up their skin. Would you then agree with that, and you couldn't extrapolate that to someone who has never eaten a seed oil? Or would you try to extrapolate that to everyone?
I don't think that has much bearing on the amount of skin damage you receive. I
So
don't
you think
that
having
becomes anything.
having skin made of a double bonded fat versus not a double bonded fat has no bearing in terms of the oxidative damage from the sun? Do you think that has no
I don't
bearing?
know. I don't know what that means. Like that doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, then that would be see why you might like need a further understanding to have a strong assertion. Then no. So this
Do-
linoleic acid, these omega sixes, since we're monogastric animals, we store all the fatty acids in our tissues, just like a pig or a chicken, and these acids easily oxidize, which causes reactive oxygen species. This causes oxidation of our tissues. So it's extremely important and especially things like saturated fat and K2 and vitamin D are extremely protective against the sun. Even being grounded, getting antioxidants is protective against the sun. So your health and lifestyle completely affects how the sun's going to affect you. You would just
Okay.
like, do you think someone just eating McDonald's versus eating like a proper diet is going to react the same way to the sun?
So I will concede that if someone is generally healthier, I would guess that they would fare better against UV damage than someone that is in poor health because the skin is an organ and like
Okay.
other organs, it's like a barometer for your general health, right? So I will concede that. I just don't know if that's going to make the difference here.
So you don't know, so it could. So if you don't
I
know,
mean,
why would you have made assertions that it wouldn't? In the fact, because I believe in the video I reacted to, you said something along the lines of, your carnivore diet won't save you. The natural people, they don't know what they're saying. So it kind of seemed that you were implying like the sun is an issue for everyone.
Why would why would eating raw meat basically cancel out UV damage? Like, why would that happen?
So the saturated, it's not the protein of raw meat. That would be pretty irrelevant. I mean, it would perhaps slightly help. I wouldn't make the assertion. And of course, you can never make any assertion on outcomes in humans as we have no human science, as we do not experiment on humans. However, I could make an educated inference based on what we know that specifically vitamin D in the diet, vitamin K2, and saturated fat itself as a nutrient is extremely nourishing for the skin. And it seems in RCTs that it helps protect against this UV damage. Like it's not even comparable. When your tissues are made up of saturated fat versus linoleic acid, they're not going to oxidize, 1/10 of the amount as if you're a high seed oil consumer. And this is why there are a lot of, and again, this is not causal evidence. There's a lot of anecdotes of people when they switch to a proper diet, they just stop burning out in the sun when they, go over years without the seed oils in the diet. There's a lot of case studies of this, including myself. I used to burn so easily, right? And this is not causal proof. It's just something to think about if you're open-minded, I would say.
Okay, so again, like you can have that theory. I'm just saying that it's a safer bet just to limit the amount of UV rays that get exposed to you. That's the safer bet. Like there's just overwhelming evidence that.
So then, by that logic,
it's also
it would also be safer than you would say to avoid red meat in the diet as well, because there's associations in the Western population that it's bad. Or would you say we should probably think about
I
the
don't know. Like I don't really study up on diets. It's not something that I have strong opinions about either way.
I see. Okay, fair enough. So you don't really have like an assertion on what people should eat?
No, in fact, I purposefully don't talk about diet in my videos just because it's just an arena that I just don't really want to get into.
That's fair enough. No, I think like there's too many people that have assertions on things like where they don't know what they're talking about. Which is why like I would never make an assertion on what cycle of roids someone should take, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. I have no clue. That's not my field.
Your arch nemesis clavicular with Nova.
Yeah, no, I would refer, if someone wants to do roids, go join his school, absolutely. I mean, then again, that guy said eat the slop they feed you, and that's where I draw the line with him. But I think that's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, I think what you're, we can just have more of like less of a debate and more of a conversation. I think it seems you haven't particularly looked into this field, and you've kind of heard, okay, sun is bad. I see X happen, therefore avoid sun. But I mean, if you're avoiding sun, that's going to be very detrimental to your health eventually. Would you agree or disagree with that? And do you care about that, I guess?
Well, I would concede that there are like benefits that you probably even know more about the upsides to sun exposure than me. But like, just the basic stuff like vitamin D, right?
Yes.
I accept that, right?
Yeah.
I just think like if we're just weighing these things up, I think if you look at just how brutalized people's skin gets from sun exposure, but I don't think it's worth the trade-off. I think it, maybe you can risk being a bit.
The trade-off would be a cause and effect inference. A trade-off would imply that something will happen if you do X, which we couldn't report on, because again, that's just assuming that there's a causation. And if you were to think that, you would again be basing this off people who drink, smoke, and eat seed oils, right? So their bodies, how they're interacting with the sun is completely different than how someone in optimal health would react to the sun, right? And again, if you're not getting sun, we need the sun to detox something called deuterium. And this is going to really, really add up in the long run. You need the sun or extreme cold to detox this. Again, your mitochondria rely on the sun. I mean, I could give you 10 things that are very important about the sun. So I just think it's a bit callous to look at unhealthy people and then say, let's avoid it altogether. What do you think about it?
Well, callous as in like, I'm not getting to like the root of the issue, which is their poor health. Is that the idea?
Yeah, it's sort of like we we could make the intervention of removing the sun in unhealthy people, and maybe they would age better. But wouldn't it make more sense to then, at the bare minimum, remove an industrial oil from the diet, which is then, we know the biochemical pathways in which this is going to cause far worse aging? I mean, that would make more sense to me. It's kind of like a band-aid solution. Like, okay, you have an unhealthy human, now let's just rub sunscreen on their face with more parabens and endocrine disruptors, etc.
I mean, looking at some of these pictures, so like I even like watched on a stream, there was these identical twins, and one wore sunscreen, the other didn't.
Yes.
I mean, whatever like the theorized downsides of sunscreen you have, I think get far outweighed by UV damage. So I mean,
so again, what
me,
were
like,
those
I just
twins
think the
eating, right? Like,
trade-off
what could that report
makes
on?
sense for.
So that could
sunscreen.
report on what happened to those people who were eating those things, right? You couldn't extrapolate that to someone who was living a complete different. There's unlimited confounding variables, right? So, I mean, what is that? That doesn't prove anything. There's also, it's funny.
Okay, but
there's actually
how many people eat exactly how you would prescribe? Like what, 0.001% of the population?
Well, we don't have to. You don't see that the difference makers isn't like whether your meat's raw, particularly. That will affect your aging, but not from the skin. What's going to affect the skin aging is how much saturated fat you're eating, how much seed oils you're eating, and how long seed oils have been out of the diet, and in terms of a dietary perspective. And I'd say there's probably around 100,000 people eating that way. I think the carnivore community has like probably 1 million people, I would say.
Yeah, but the point is, it's a very small percentage of Earth's population. So I think like my advice of limiting sun exposure applies to, even if we're accepting that, like, if we eat a carnivore diet, then you're practically immune to sun damage, which I don't agree with. But I'll just accept that for now. Even accepting what you're saying is just completely valid.
Yes.
It doesn't apply to 99.99% of people. So, like, my advice to avoid sun, even in your like own worldview, it is pretty beneficial to them.
Okay. So why would you then prescribe? I feel like if I were you, I would consider the idea that, hey, perhaps you should wear sunscreen for now, but ideally you should probably make the composition of your skin less prone to oxidation. That would probably be wise. That's food for thought. Actually, also sugar has a few pathways in which it's going to make you age a lot worse, especially be more sensitive to the sun. Just chronic systemic inflammation. Like, we have these UV rays just hitting these people who are just fucking sick, and smoking and drinking and seed oil skin and chronic systemic inflammation. It's not really surprising to me at all that this is super aging people. So then then with the truck driver example, he had a closed window, and tinted windows can filter out red light often. He was probably getting more sun than he should have for his ethnicity, and then of course his diet was likely shit, right? So it's not really surprising. It's not really an argument against the sun. It's more an argument against what the people's lifestyles who are then placed in that environment, right?
Okay. See, I kind of feel like this is just like there's no failure point here, right? Because, like, let's say if that truck driver ate mostly a meat diet, then you'd say, oh, well, it's not raw meat.
No, I wouldn't.
And then if he did eat raw meat, you'd say, oh, it's not good quality enough. Like, where's the
false.
Failure point here?
The failure point here is no seed oils and high saturated fats. And then I'd be satisfied. Done. So, and that would only be one confounding variable as well, because we still have the closed window, and how many hours of sun was he getting per day, right?
So if someone didn't have seed oils, so
yes,
they are going to not get burned by the sun by what degree? Like, would
so
they become like 20% better?
You would safely tan and not actually experience the burn, because most people, by the way, they burn in like 10 to 15 minutes in the sun. It's actually dangerous for most people to be in the sun. I agree with that. Currently, it is. However, I would say it makes, from the anecdotes, people like Dr. Anthony Shafee, who have had no seed oils in like 10 years, he's a white guy who can be in the sun for 6 hours and not burn a smidge. So it seems to be many, many, many times more resilient from the photo aging from the sun.
Dr. Anthony Shafee?
Dr. Anthony Shafee, yeah. So he's only eaten meat for around a decade.
Interesting. Dr. Anthony Shafee. Let me search him up. I mean,
I say
So,
he
yeah,
gets a lot
you
of sun
think-
too. I say he looks pretty good for like in his 40s, as an example.
Yeah, but again, like we can kind of use that the other way around, right? Like, I'm not a raw meat eater, and I would say I've got
The raw part isn't important
better
though,
skin
as it's
collagen
specified.
for my age.
Yeah,
What?
sure. The raw part isn't important for this topic though, right? Like
Okay,
you don't.
okay.
And even the raw, even the protein portion of meat isn't important. You could eat raw butter, and then you could eat lentils, and then not eat seed oils, and you'd have the same outcome in this. But yeah, anyway, I get you. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, all we have is anecdotes because we
Is
don't
this
have
the guy?
experiments on humans, and then we could actually establish causation.
Is this the guy on stream? Like, have I got the right guy?
Oh, let
'Cause
me- yeah,
he
sorry, let me
doesn't
check it
look- this guy doesn't look like much of a skinmonger. I don't know if I got the right guy.
Let me see. No, that's not him.
Yeah, I thought so.
I'll type his name in chat.
Yeah, come on. Discord or YouTube?
Oh, I just put it in YouTube there.
Okay. Let me see real quick.
I would check out his videos on YouTube. And
Oh, Chafee. Okay.
yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
do you believe in evolution, by the way?
Yes.
So, would you say 4.5 million years of positive and negative selection pressures, given the persons in the environment of their ancestors, do you think they'd be then damaged? Like, you don't think we've adapted to handle a certain amount of sun? Like, clearly black people have more melanin for a reason. They've adapted.
Yeah, it's like
know?
SPF 15 from what I've seen. Like their equivalent.
Right.
Their equivalent.
So they're adapted to that, right? So do you think that our specific adaptation like led us astray? Oh, we're adapted to this amount of sun, but then it's harming us. It's like it kind of would make it would kind of be an insult to evolution and positive negative pressures over millions of years. Same with like meat causing heart disease. It's like we've been eating that for around millions of years, provably, unequivocally, through isotope analysis. We know as fact. We've been eating 80% or more meat for millions of years. It's like, oh, but that causes disease suddenly, right? It's almost like so illogical. It's almost incomprehensible to argue that, I would say.
Just because we're adapted doesn't mean we're perfectly adapted. Like the life expectancy of primal man was like 25. Like by
How
the
would
time
you know
you're
that?
30, you're like an old man. Huh?
How would you know that? And
Oh, that's
is
just,
that
like,
counting
what
infant
I've read.
mortality?
Yeah, I'd assume so.
And was that dying to disease or was that dying to other pressures? Like, a tiger eating you or
I don't
running out
know.
of food? Right? There's a lot of
I don't
confounding
know,
variables.
but the point is the average person, didn't make it past 30 like that for
And?
a long period of time, right? Well, it doesn't mean we're, just because something's natural doesn't
You
mean
would have to
we're
show that
well adapted
you would have
face
to show
against
they
it.
were dying due to something due to the diet, though. That's all that would matter.
I'm
Otherwise,
making more of a general point. It's just like there's loads of things in nature that are obviously hazardous to humans. So just because
like plants,
we're not perfectly adapted to many things.
right? So,
The sun being one of them.
what would your assertion be for that? Because think about this, right? Look how fast black people adapted to having that melanin. That's showing that's over only tens of thousands of years. It's estimated, right? So, when you have a European man and he's this exact skin tone, it would be a different skin tone if it should have been. Does that make sense? Like,
No, I don't understand.
You don't think so? So if we have people way darker than someone in Europe, right? That means there
Uh,
was a pressure to make them darker, but not a pressure to make
yeah.
the European darker.
Yes.
Right. So if the European needed to be darker, they would be darker because they're the proper skin tone for that amount of sun exposure. You don't agree with that?
I mean, I agree, but like the subtext of this is, primal man, had a better diet. What do you think? So, even like a European guy in the sun wouldn't get burned because he was eating like, I don't know, mammoth meat or something. Is that what you're getting at?
He would 100%, a natural human would 100% be more resilient to the sun. 100%. Yes. 100%. And there's too many mechanisms by which we can extrapolate that, like systemic inflammation, sugar content in the diet, no seed oils in the diet, high saturated animal fat, which is inherently anti-inflammatory, and the amount of collagen in the diet. It would just 100%. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
See, I mean,
no, sorry, go
go
on.
on.
No, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, I just think there's like, I just, I think we're really over-indexing on diet here compared to other factors like mental stress and
Like for overall
sleep.
aging.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that would be a different topic. I would agree. Like, there's so many other factors for overall aging. But, like, in terms of sun, I totally think what your skin is made of is definitely the most important thing. Because you have to realize these oils are integrated all over your tissues when you eat them, as we cannot ferment them like a cow. So you are quite literally, most humans are walking around, they are made of, like, these oils integrate into the cell membranes, right? So the collagen in your skin is literally integrated with seed oils, which are these time bombs that oxidize under very low temperatures. And they're often pre-oxidized because we're eating fried food. So, and these are everywhere in the modern diet. So it's humans are quite literally made up of different fatty acids than they would have been, but to their core. And I think that's something very important to consider when we see how this huge ball of heat is interacting with us.
See, again, like what you're saying sounds good. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, just like empirical reality. I'm just going back to like what I'm saying is just that like the sun for most people
So
is fucking hazardous to their collagen. It just like nukes their collagen, and um, I guess like I do think like diet is just really over indexed on because like according to you, I don't eat a good diet by any means, and yet I constantly have people say that you look way younger for someone that's like almost 32 now, and like I'm not. I don't have any war meat. Yes.
yeah, for you, it would be a benefit if you do eat unnaturally. Of course, you'll see in your n equals one if you get a disease, that will be your choice. And I mean, some people don't care. That's all. That's a different topic. But yeah, in terms of aging, if you're gonna eat McDonald's, then yeah, you should totally take the peptides, wear the sunscreen, avoid the sun. So yeah, I mean, I just think like the best recommendation will kind of be nuanced. It's like if you're actively harming your health, then yes, avoid the sun. If you're trying your best in avoiding these oils, wouldn't there be a little more nuance? But that's all I would be getting at.
Um. Yeah. Like I eat McDonald's quite often, actually.
Mm. Do you not care? I mean, I'm not judging. Do you not care about like longevity?
I mean, I just think like diet is such a small percentage, and again, I don't really look into diet that much. But
Oh wow.
even for me, like just like I know this is like N of one, but like we're talking about guys getting sun rays through like a window.
Right.
We're in an N of one discussion, right? So just for me, like you know, I eat like a terrible diet full of seed oils, all that bullshit, and I never get the cold, I never get injured. I have significantly better collagen than people
Yeah,
that are in their
none of those would
30s.
be health
So
markers though. Like
none
if I
of those
looked
are
at
health markers.
No, not at all.
What is
Not
a health marker if not
a good
if
health
not
marker would
resisting
be
illness and
oxidized
damage?
oxidized LDL, A1C, fasting insulin. Those would be some good atherosclerotic plaque CT scan. Those would be some good markers. I mean, yeah, we would want to see how much glycation is in your red blood cells in your blood. That would be a good marker. How much plaque you have in your arteries. Those would be health markers we'd want to look at, not if you get sick. That would
You
be.
don't want to look at barometers for health, like your skin, how often you get sick with
I
common
mean,
illnesses. You
they
don't
can
think
give
that's a
you a
useful
little.
barometer?
Well, when we're looking at the number one cause of death, it's completely useless. No, like we want to look at the coronary artery plaque. That's the number one cause of death right now. Like if we want to look at your health and longevity, those markers would be very minimal. Yeah. I mean, a better predictor would just be, okay, are you going to die to an atherosclerotic lesion, right? That's what we'd want to see. Because I know as a fact, if I checked your liver, you'd have more visceral fat than me, and I would know you'd have worse fasting insulin than me, etc. Right? Those would be the markers. And I'm not saying that to one up you, by the way. I'm just giving an example, like versus the McDonald's diet. Like for longevity, I think you'd understand McDonald's is you will die sooner than you would have otherwise.
I don't know. Like
You
again,
don't think so? You,
again, like I don't know too much about that, so like I'm
mm,
not. Again, I'm just saying this isn't my arena. I'm just saying that for someone that you would admit has like a bad diet, like it doesn't seem like there's much of a a cost to my health,
not
despite
yet.
the
Correct.
poor
You
diet.
will face issues. You will as a fact. Just and here's the thing. People think they're exceptions. If you look at what people are dying to, most people are dying to a modern disease. So if we were to go on risk factors, you will most likely die to a heart attack or heart disease. Most likely. That's the most likely way you'll die, and that's completely in your control, essentially. So, I mean, that's up to you, though. I mean, you're 30, right? Of course you're not going to have, this takes decades to form an atherosclerotic plaque. It's the most common way you'll die, though. I mean, your Randall cycle is chronically upregulated. You have systemic inflammation. You have polyunsaturated fatty acids in the diet. I mean, you will suffer eventually. It may take decades, though. That's up to you, though. Yeah. I
Well,
mean, you might not reflect in your
again, I
skin.
think we're at a no failure point state again, because like how can I prove that I'm in good health? Like I
You
have to like show you
could get a
paperwork.
coronary artery CT scan. That would be, and I would do that for yourself, by the way, if you are eating McDonald's. Um,
You know
at
what? I
30,
actually might do this for a video.
a coronary artery CT scan. I mean, imagine they scan. Oh, you got a lot of coronary artery plaque. That wouldn't be too good. You should check your A1C. I mean, you have fats and sugar in the diet, so you have chronic systemic inflammation by default. And we could definitely check and see how glycated. So when you eat any sugar in the diet to any amount, you raise your blood sugar above homeostasis and you cause glycation. So the sugar is binding to these proteins, your red blood cells. It's glycating them, causing these advanced glycation end products. And we can measure how much of those you have over 90 days, which is the A1C, and we'd see how much damage you have. Yeah, it'd be pretty interesting. Those would be some pretty good markers. You could also check your serum nutrients as well. That's something else we could look
Uh,
at.
Thank you for the donor of the opinionated, Charles. Yeah, I actually think like getting like blood work done, I think would actually be a pretty fucking interesting video.
Hmm.
Because like again, like you know, you can only just take my word that I'm in good health. Like, of course, like actual
Yeah.
lab studies is really gonna decide it. So again, like let's just leave it at that, because you
Mm.
know, in my opinion, I don't know if you agree, but I would say that the diet is quite a small percentage to the overall package of your health. I would say that
Really?
getting good sleep, mental stress, at a minimum,
So you
I
think you
would
should
put more
avoid
of
the
a
sun and that your diet doesn't matter
emphasis.
for good health?
I would say, I mean,
Wow.
for me, like I just don't think that is worth considering
For
that
health.
much compared to other factors. Yeah, for
What
health.
would a factor that's more important than your diet be for health?
Sleep,
Sleep?
stress. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, so when we look at the variability of people's sleep versus the variability of people's diets, like most people are kind of getting this 6 to 8 hour range of sleep. Right? I could argue, okay, air is most important for health. If you don't have it, you'll die in 5 minutes, right? That's a bit stupid, though, isn't it? Right?
Right, right. Well,
Because like we
what
look
I
at the
mean by
bell curve,
sleep,
like most
when
people
I
are
say sleep,
sleeping.
I mean like I do like not the the 6 hours a day average, like no, like 8 hours plus, right? That's what I mean. Good quality sleep too.
So
Not
do you think
not
what's
watching rage
causing
bait
the
before bed.
chronic disease like these days is from people's sleep or diet?
Uh, I would say mental stress is more toxic to health
So like when we look
than
at the main cause
just
of
eating seed
diseases like
oils.
atherosclerosis, like heart disease, like you think like the mental stress is building the arterial plaque, or do you think that we need a physical mass to build an arterial plaque?
Well, to be honest, I think like if we're talking about body composition, obviously diet is the determining factor, and
Right.
frankly, a lot of people are just overly fat, right? So that's obvious, right? Like
Right.
you don't need to argue that BMI being too high is a problem. But I think after you get to like a healthy BMI, I think after that, then you should be in the order of priority. I would say sleep and mental calmness comes after getting a healthy BMI. What do you think?
For health?
Yeah, for health.
Oh, wow, no, man. I mean, firstly, the sun is actually, there's people like Jack Cruz that actually argue your light environment's more important than your diet, which I think that's retarded as well. But I'll tell you, number one, diet, number two, light environment, number three, being electrically grounded to the earth. That's my top three.
What?
And you could put,
Electrically,
yeah, because
what?
that's the only way you're going to get proper antioxidants and lower your blood pressure is by being electrically grounded to the earth.
What
I've
does
been
that
meaning
mean?
when you are grounded to the earth, there's a lot of studies on this and good inferences that can be made. A lot of Jack Cruz has done a lot of work on this. The second you are electrically grounded, you're touching the earth with your bare feet, your blood pressure sustainably lowers. You start getting antioxidants from the earth electrically, which these cannot be harnessed in most foods. And we are adapted to be electrically grounded to the earth for most of the time we're alive. It's very new that we're now living up 10 stories above the earth. And it's quite important. So I have a grounding literal cable that's grounded to my table, connected to the outside to a mat. So I'm electrically connected to the earth. If I were to check your electrical current versus mine, they would be very different right now. That's one thing. That's not the most important thing. I'd give that number like 4. Yeah, number one, diet. We could do diet, sleep, sun, grounding,
Wait,
I'd say.
what do you so you're saying like okay, this is just a new concept, so I'm just
You
pretty
never heard of
confused
this?
right now. So if you go bare feet on what soil,
Yes,
then you're
soil.
going to have better
Your blood pressure will lower, your nitric oxide will go up, and you'll start receiving antioxidants exogenously, yes. Those are the three main benefits. Instantly, when you start grounding, your blood pressure will go down a fair bit.
That sounds kind of wild.
I have all the
I'm not even
literature.
saying that's wrong. I just have.
Oh, you could
just
never say it's
heard of
wrong. It's
that.
unassailable. Yeah.
It's unassailable.
Yeah, you could never debunk this. It's every RCT already shows it. Yeah. So that's number 4.
So
Yeah.
wait. So do you like walk outside on like your grass on the front garden and just like
Yeah,
you
it's
just feel yourself get
very
calm?
important. It also helps you detoxify deuterium through the grounding along with the sun. And we're very full of deuterium, especially in seed oils. They're like 155 parts per million of deuterium versus animal fats 115. So when you oxidize those, the water byproduct is also high in deuterium. That's another issue with them. Same with sugar. And deuterium is a mitochondrial poison. When it's at an improper level, your mitochondria are going to be a lot less efficient. Same with glucose as well. So grounding and getting sun exposure is very important for getting rid of this excess deuterium we all have. also, I mean, this is also why it's more permissible to eat a fruit outside when you're grounding, because you're going to literally detoxify the deuterium you get from the fruit. So, yep.
I mean, again, this is the first time I've heard of anything
You don't know
like
what
this,
deuterium
but
is?
no, I do not.
Yeah, deuterium it's a literal mitochondrial poison when it's not at a proper level, and anything with sugar or anything but saturated animal fat essentially has an improper deuterium level. Even raw milk, actually, that has like 140 ppm deuterium. That's too high as well, actually. When you're on a carnivore diet, you start producing your own metabolic water from the fat oxidation, which is at 120 ppm deuterium, which is perfect. And the only way to do that is by eating only meat. And this is why in studies, ketogenic dieters have 4 times as many mitochondria at 4 times the efficiency. So you almost have 16 times more mitochondrial function. And of course, also on a fat oxidation diet, you put a cancer cell into that metabolic state, it dies, literally. It needs sugar to run. Yeah, it's extremely important for longevity. Yeah.
Again, I just don't have any. I can't really retort. I just have never heard anything like this before. So
I know.
It is what it is.
So it would be like, yeah. You have an opinion on something that you're not educated on, and I don't mean this to put you down.
I've never gave an opinion on deuterium.
You said diet wasn't that important, but you don't know anything about it, right?
I would say it's of minor importance compared to some other things.
Why would you think that if you don't understand it, though?
Okay. Do I need to understand the biochemistry of diet to just make observations about reality? I don't think I do.
Yes, evidently, especially for health. What observation about reality? That would be, if we were to put that on the hierarchy of evidence, that would be at the very bottom. That would be nothing. That would be the same as a homeless guy saying he saw God. It just means nothing to me. We would need, that's just not scientific. It's just nothing. Now, for aging, it would have maybe something because you can actually see the aging. But for health, we have so much data and understanding of how diet's affecting health. It's just unassailable to say, like, your sleep or mental stress is more important than preventing disease than diet.
I mean, aging and health are practically interconnected. I mean, what is health but aging slower than most people?
That's a good point. So then again, your metabolic rate, that would really affect your cell division and your telomeres. So then again, you'd also want to not eat sugar, right? So that would then affect your aging. Same with what if we're talking about aging, advanced glycation end products, again, that's dietary. Okay, so then you'd also not want to eat sugar. Right, so that's all dietary.
I mean, okay. I mean, we don't need to get, because this is just obviously something I haven't studied about, so I can't really say, oh, actually, electrical grounding doesn't matter. I don't know. So again,
So
I don't
would you
really
say
want to,
people should make assertions if? Should people who aren't educated on a topic make assertions about said topic? Would you say?
Yeah, you can use observational reality. I mean, you don't need to understand, the nuts and bolts of how something works to make an observation about it.
True, with
you
an
don't know
observation.
how to make a computer, but you're using a computer. You know it works. You know.
But I'm not making an assertion about what part of a computer would be better if I didn't understand it, though. That's the difference. That's not a good analogy. That's like me saying, if I had no understanding on the best way to build a wall, and then I go up to people building walls, I'm like, oh, you're doing that wrong, right? That's not my place. I have no clue. I would never make a claim about something I have no idea about.
No, well, that's why I don't give diet advice. I don't, talk about diet really in my content.
But it seems you had just made the claim that diet doesn't matter much for health, right? So what in your mind thought you were qualified to say that, right? If you don't understand it. I'm genuinely asking. No offense at all. I mean,
because I think
respect.
once you get to an adequate BMI, I think you're Gucci compared to most people. But
Right, so you have that
um,
opinion there, but clearly you don't understand much about health though. So wouldn't it not make sense for you to make an assertion if you clearly like just aren't, and that's fine, you're not a health channel, but do you see what I'm saying? You should probably say, I have no idea what would make someone healthy. I just haven't researched it. Wouldn't that make more sense than to make a
uh,
guess or an assertion?
again, I don't. Again, diet isn't really my thing. It's
Yeah.
just something I just don't really like look into. So that's
Yeah,
what it
so
is.
then wouldn't you want to not make a claim then about it if you don't look into it?
How am I making a claim about that? I'm just
You
saying
you had
that
said that diet
just
wasn't important for health, which
it
is a
seems to
claim.
me it seems to me like there are things that are, way more
Mm.
quantifiably true to improve your health. That is like very
Then
easy to
diet?
understand than diet. Yeah, I think so.
So you just don't think like micronutrients, metabolic state, like this stuff is all just the driver of these diseases like atherosclerosis, diabetes, like you just really. And this is how most people are dying, by the way. I mean, I just
Right.
that's such an interesting take, truly. I could totally see your take with aging, but like to say your diet isn't just the most important or at least top 2 for health, bro? Wow. Wow, man. That's really interesting, dude.
Well, it
Like
is what
like
it is. I
right?
mean,
Like what
I'm not making myself out to be some diet guru, dude. That's
Yeah, but
that's
like
my thing. Like,
yeah, so why would you have a take then, right?
why would I have a take?
Yeah, why would you have a
Well, my
take if you
original
don't
take was
know?
I don't think eating a carnivore diet would make you immune to sun damage. That's what my
Right, so you
take
had again
was.
a take on diet without even knowing what
Yes,
like
I don't think diet is a panacea to all the problems and hazards of this world. Like it's not.
sure, that would be a completely different argument. So you thought diet specifically didn't matter for sun, how you relate and react to the sun, but you don't understand diet. Do you see where that's like a bit callous to then have an opinion on that if you don't even understand it? That would, like, if you were put in front of a judge and a jury, they would say, "What the fuck is this?" And you'd be completely 9-0'd on the jury. It would be the worst evidence of all time. You get what I'm saying? Like, we don't have evidence or reasoning. We just have a feeling from someone who doesn't know what they're saying, which that isn't. That's actually exactly what you accused the carnivores of doing in your video.
It's not a feeling. It's not a feeling. This is like mainstream science that
Mm.
UV rays are something you want to limit. This isn't like just what I like
So
to hear. Like
science would, what
it is what it
science?
is.
Wait, could you please present any science? Because that's a very interesting word to use. If you were to
Are
say
you doing the source thing on me? Like,
if you were to
is
say
that what you're doing?
studies, science would be controlling for all variables.
Do I have to Google does UV damage the skin? Like, is that
Yeah, you could show
is
me the study and I'll show you what's not scientific about it if you'd like. Yeah, sure.
what's not
Oh,
science? What do you mean? So, what do you mean? Do you
what do I
not
mean by
believe that
science?
UV rays damages the skin? Because I thought we established that it does earlier in this conversation.
It totally
Like, what are
can.
you disagreeing with me on here? Like,
My
I
what
don't
my
know
dis
like,
my disagreement would be that it's science. It's like complete nitpick. I think I can make an inference that it does seem that the sun totally can cause damage in excess, especially in our population. Right? I would agree with you there. But also, I think the approach of even for anti-aging, even in Western population, completely limiting the sun, getting zero sun, would you not agree that's just too deleterious for your health, right? Like, do you really think like 10 minutes of
well, I
sun?
wouldn't say never get sun. I think,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like just don't like never go out during the daytime. Like,
Okay.
that's just too much. I just think like if you are gonna spend time outdoors, then wearing an SPF is wise.
On your whole
Like,
body?
yeah, maybe. I mean,
Maybe. So
at
maybe
least
not.
on your face. Like I usually just use SPF on my face. I think that's wise.
Mm.
My face and my neck,
I think if you're eating
so I don't get a
McDonald's,
turkey neck like some people
yeah,
that don't wear sunscreen.
I see. Yes, indeed. Um, I would, and some people who don't too, depending on their what. how they treat themselves and how much they get. By the way, I'm not advocating, like, I'm living in the U.S., right, as a white guy. The people who naturally live here were Native Americans, and they were a lot darker than me. So if I were to sit outside all day, that would be too much sun for my ethnicity, right? So, I'm not advocating you should be out all day, but, I mean, you're going to 100% really fuck yourself over, especially if you wear full body sunscreen and you are limiting your sun exposure from a health perspective. Now, if you don't give a fuck about that, hey, be my guest. You can die. It's your funeral, but.
What do you think about someone in my chat made a interesting comment about Asian longevity? Yeah, like I would say like East Asians are pretty sunphobic as a culture, right?
Yeah.
And they don't seem to like I mean, as far as I know, they have the. Actually, I may as well just Google it.
You're going to reference
highest,
lifespan, I'm assuming?
Yes, highest lifespan.
They have one of them?
Country.
But again, that would be, there would be unlimited confounding variables, so that association can establish causation or anything anything important for us. But
Monaco is actually the longest lifespan country. It's like that.
Is it not Hong Kong?
Okay, Hong Kong is actually Hong Kong on this list. So 85.51, Japan 84.71 years old. South
if we were to use
84.33 years old.
If we
These are all
association,
sunphobic cultures. Like you try and get a Korean girl to go out in the sun, they're gonna like fight you tooth and nail. So like
now what?
Okay, I mean, I'm just like
that would be an association, right?
It doesn't seem like it's much of a determining factor that getting sunshine is, not getting sunshine is this like death sentence to your health. It doesn't seem like that's true at all.
There's unlimited confounding variables. As someone just said in my chat, they're also shorter, so they're going to have a longer life, less cell division. I mean, there's just unlimited confounding variables. They also eat a lot of raw meat in those countries like Hong Kong and Japan. They eat a lot of raw meat, which is definitely helping them out.
Japan, like you mean like sushi?
Yeah, raw meat. Yeah.
So you think sushi is the determining factor for Japan being?
No, I would never make that assertion because there's unlimited confounding variables. But I would say that could be part of it, right? Like we would have pretty good biochemical reasoning, but like you'd have to show a mechanism by which less sun would improve longevity, right? So with raw meat, I have unlimited mechanisms of how it's going to provide you with essential nutrients, less inflammatory oxidation of substrates, all these reasons of why it would help your lifespan. So when we have an association, it can never report on causation. So now we'd have to say, okay, people who get less sun live longer. Is there a mechanism to establish causation to underpin that? So would you have any mechanisms by which less sun would make someone live longer?
I don't know. That's not the claim I'm making.
Oh, okay. You don't think that? Okay.
What I'm saying is that it doesn't seem like sunphobic cultures see much of a determining factor to having a worse health. It doesn't seem evidence just from the life expectancy of these sunphobic cultures.
Yeah, another
pretty
thing.
High. I don't think it's causal. I just don't think.
Okay.
I just think what this does prove is that, not getting sunshine, like it's not this death sentence to your health. It doesn't seem like that is the case.
Based on those cultures, which they don't get
based
zero.
Based on these life expectancy. Yeah, it's not zero, but like, come on, like, if you've ever been in East Asia, like some even men, they have umbrellas like parasols outside. It's sunny and not rainy. So like it's way more sunphobic than what we have in the West.
Right, but then Japan, here's the thing that they walk way more, they use drugs way less, they eat way more raw meat, they're shorter, so and we have all vegetables. I think it's mostly grains. It's actually grains and meat mostly, just rice and sushi mostly.
Which you're not a fan of, right?
It's certainly unoptimal for them, yeah. But they still have a fair bit of raw seafood and pork, and they certainly have a far better diet than us. So if anything, that would really show that even despite the sun deficiency, diet is that important for longevity. You know, Hong Kong actually is number one, and they consume the most meat out of any country too. That's an interesting association, wouldn't you say?
Is that true?
Yes.
Let me see.
Look that up. They're the meat capital of the world. They're also the longest living in the world. And that means nothing, by the way. It's complete epidemiological nonsense, associative nonsense. But if meat were to reduce your lifespan, for example, which you never made that assertion, you know, we wouldn't expect to see that.
To be fair, FaceIQ,
Yes.
AI says Hong Kong, number one in most meat consumption.
What's up? Am I
I'm
wrong?
saying, to be fair, you're right. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I Googled it. Hong Kong,
Yeah.
number one in meat consumption. Number two,
Yeah.
USA,
Yeah.
Australia, Argentina.
So you see my point, right? They're the longest living and the number one in meat consumption. I know my facts about this stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but USA doesn't have a particularly high life expectancy, and
Exactly.
too, right?
So you just saw for yourself how dog shit associations are then. You just proved it to yourself. See? See how they're both so
Proved what?
associated with completely different outcomes? Same with the sun. There you are. That's a great personal anecdote of how bad epidemiology is and associations are. Perfect.
Well, I'm not saying. Well, okay, so back to the sun thing. I wasn't saying that limiting sun is just going to make you live a long lifespan. I'm saying that limiting sun exposure, like those cultures, wasn't, you know, a determining factor for having a low lifespan. Do you understand?
Yeah, again, it's still a bad argument. How much longer would they live if they did have sun? If every other variable, essentially, we can kind of see they're doing better than us, right? Like, okay, so they have way less seed oils, way more raw meat, way less processed foods, way more walking, lower BMIs, healthier culture. Like, they have all these confounding variables, then less sun than us. And maybe less sun would be positive in these people because we have a ton of linoleic acid in our skin. So perhaps it's actually a benefit that they get less sun because they do still have some seed oils, right? We can never extrapolate anything close to causality and how the sun would affect a healthy individual from this association.
I don't know. I'm just not seeing much evidence that either way that diet determines much. I think the biggest determining factor is more BMI. Like, if you look at like a chart of life expectancy and BMI, it's almost a perfect correlation. So I think the more sensible approach for most people is to get to a healthy BMI rather than stressing about micronutrients.
That's one thing that would definitely be smart to do. So, and then if what if you were to get to a healthy BMI by being a fruitarian? Do you think that would then help you? Like, it's like
A fruitarian?
so then you would
Yeah,
just so you would die in 5 years. Okay, you'd be a healthy BMI then die. Would that be good? Right? Like how could you think how you're getting to X, how Y doesn't matter, right? Like wow, it's very surprising.
No, come on. Let's not get lost in the weeds. I'm not advocating a fruitarian diet.
I know.
I'm just saying BMI is generally a pretty
Okay.
good barometer.
So do you like not believe in micronutrients and how they like affect you, or what's up with that? And like especially you have a lot of teenagers in development, right? Do you know how important your metabolic state and your nutrients would be for, you know, development?
Yeah, I believe in micronutrients, of course. But again,
Okay.
it's not really part of my content. Like, this
Right.
isn't really my bag. I can't tell you much about micronutrients.
Right. So again, this takes us back to when you do not know something about something, it's normally best not to make claims such as...
I can make claims about observational reality. Like, I mean,
No,
I
that's
can make
you
claims
saying
about statistics
but
and
the way
what
you
I can
phrase it
see.
matters. Then you would say, you know, in my experience, I notice people who get more sun age worse. You wouldn't say, the sun makes you all age. There is no nuance. Diet doesn't matter for health. Like, you wouldn't want to make those claims. If you had to underpin them, they would fall apart, and they have in 3 seconds, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't want to do that.
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying that I don't believe eating carnivore diet is this panacea that just solves problems when it comes to UV damage or all these other issues. And I just think there's like I just think you like represent like a subset of like the looks maxing community that is very focused on naturalism, for lack of a better term. And
Right.
I just think like my leaning is more on the emphasis on things such as pharmaceuticals and cosmetic surgery. That's really like what I'm interested in.
I'm with you with surgery. Yeah.
Yeah, I
with
like your
surgery.
content about like face ratings and face
See, if I was an appeal to
diagnosis.
nature guy, then I would say don't get surgery. That's retarded. I'm not even against all pharmaceuticals. I mean, a lot of them are very toxic, like Accutane or. See, that's the thing. If you tell someone clear your skin with Accutane versus diet, unless we're all suicidal, that really matters how someone does that. Like, okay, they're going to completely destroy their liver with Accutane and their triglycerides, or they could get really healthy and clear their skin naturally, right? Like, wouldn't we have a preference
come
there?
on, man! Like
What?
I had acne all the way up into my 30s, and I finally got rid of my facial acne. Now, and thanks
Yes.
to Accutane, and
And
I will not have a bad word said about Accutane. It is really a miracle. It's really a miracle drug. Like I think it's fantastic, and I wish
Yes.
I would have gone on a course of Accutane sooner.
it is a miracle of how many people have permanent joint pain from it. I agree. Also, the hair loss as well, the permanent liver
Permanent
damage,
joint pain.
the incidence of long-term liver disease from those who have taken Accutane. You should look into that. It's a very, very, very high incidence, and you can infer it could be a little bit unwise to do that to your liver. But up to you.
Well,
Also, look at the
I-
risk
I mean,
profile.
like, so what? So what? You would advise someone with like lifelong acne to like just eat raw meat? As
They
opposed
should
to
completely eliminate
using
all
Accutane?
plant matter from the diet, as that's the leaky gut issue. Yes, eliminate all plant matter. Only eat meat and water for 30 days. Ease into the diet over 4 weeks to transition the microbiome. You will see great results within 30 days, and then you will see a complete amelioration typically within like 6 months. Yes. And that's less than a course of Accutane normally. And I have
Dude,
hundreds
I'm
of
telling
case
you,
studies of it.
There's no way there's just no way me eating, I don't know, some raw liver is going to get. It would have.
You don't
gotten
need to
rid
eat
of
that,
my
yeah.
Face acne.
It's
There's just
actually
no way.
unwise to eat too much liver. But so how would you underpin that claim? Again, you made another claim about health. So how would you underpin it? That there's no way?
Because it's an issue with the amount of oil that your skin makes, your sebaceous glands. It's not an issue of micronutrients.
Do you think that's
It's
random
genetic.
as
It's,
well?
like people genetically can have acne, and like I was like one of these people, and
Genetic
for
predisposition,
those-
yes.
no diet's gonna change that.
Wait, then why would tribes have 0% rates of acne vulgaris then? And then they
Say
turn
that
west.
again?
Why would certain tribes have 0 reported case of acne then, and then they get westernized and then they have acne? Why would that be then?
I don't know if that's the case, but
Oh, I
know
can
that
provide you the literature on
acne
that.
is
Would that
genetic.
if I were to provide the literature that there's tribes with 0% acne rates, would that change your mind?
I'd find it interesting. I don't know if it would change.
It wouldn't
my
change
mind
your
about
mind.
sebaceous glands and the drying of them and shrinking of them for reducing acne long term, because I think that's practically what Accutane does. I think Accutane is, and like again, like we're just talking theories here, but like you can even look at my old videos before I used Accutane, and I always had like a little spot on my face. Always had a little spot here or a spot there, and now I don't. So again,
Right.
like
So
just
no one disputed it would
observational
work.
reality. This is what counts.
Also, I have a question. Why, if Accutane is so good, why would most people have a relapse then as well with acne? That doesn't seem quite great.
A relapse.
Most people, I think it's like 55% of people end up having all their acne come back, roughly 6 months to a year after finishing the course. It depends on what age you take it as well. Like I've done Accutane, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I've done it
really?
once. And then I did another half course. I started having severe joint pain. My liver triglycerides were actually into a dangerous level, and so they had to take me off because it's a synthetic chemical. It's isotretinoin. It's a vitamin A derivative in high amounts, so it's all processed by your liver. It's just like fructose or alcohol. It goes straight to the liver to be processed, and it's a fat-soluble vitamin, so you cannot excrete excess of it. It's and then it actually starts affecting your immune system from this toxicity. You have a lot of people, they have hypervitaminosis from Accutane as well. It's a toxin, 100%, undeniably.
So you saw some gnarly side effects after using Accutane, right?
I personally did, yeah.
Okay. I mean, again, this is like a side point, but have you done any hard maxing?
Not yet, no.
Not yet. What do you have in mind?
I want to go to the Ratnan clinic in Thailand and get some fat grafting.
That's
then I actually want to go to Aerial Rad and get a canthoplasty, and I want to get a zygomatic augmentation. Then I want a hairline lowering and transplant. Yes.
Canthoplasty. Yeah, I think that I haven't seen a good look at your face, but maybe you do lack fat cells around your eyes. But yeah, I think canthoplasty would actually ascend you.
Yeah, no, for sure, bro. Like, it's really such a phalo. Really is. It's really brutal. It's a soft tissue phalo. It's like I wish I just had like a great eye region that I just need a Trimax. Like that'd be way more preferable. But
really,
yeah.
You gotta be making bank now, so you could afford a Trimax.
I could afford a Trimax. You know what I'm saying? I wish my flaws were bone rather than soft tissue.
Really, because isn't soft tissue a lot easier to solve?
I mean, the bot rates of like Trimax versus Cantho are far and few between. Like if you look, I think it's like 97% of people are satisfied with Bimax, and then it's like 50% are satisfied with Cantho, right? So I would way prefer to just have needed Bimax. Oh yeah, someone in chat. Also, I could probably get a eyebrow transplant.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's like pretty fucking underrated.
Yeah, no, that's like, a really good procedure.
Yeah, but the thing is, right? I've seen some people they get hair follicles from their actual like scalp, and they have to like shave their eyebrows so it doesn't. Like,
yeah, they have to trim them. I've heard there was a way.
There is
some other hair.
Know the hair on your neck, like leading up to your scalp.
Yeah,
that hair is like pretty similar to your eyebrow hair. So like the 200 IQ move is to use those follicles.
Yeah, so I mean, I could go to Turkey and like get, because my temples are fucked. That's why I also cope with my hairstyle. And I think I could like fix my hairline and get a little bit lower. Like my thirds are a little bit off. My forehead's a bit tall.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man, I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
How about you, dude? Are you gonna hard max more? Because you did the fat graft, right?
Yeah, I did that, and I also did a ptosis corrective surgery. Like, I naturally had like a droopy eyelid, and I fixed that by raising the levator muscle, like tightening that. And but like as for like hard maxing that like I guess have in mind, one thing is correcting my deviated septum. Like my nose is slightly wonky because my septum is deviated, and I could and while I'm like under the knife, I could make my nose more pointed, and combine it with like a rhinoplasty, and I think that would ascend.
Okay, that's what's up. Are you
It's actually good for you, like you know, if you solve like your deviated septum, you actually breathe better, especially when sleeping. Like you do less mouth breathing.
Yeah. Do you use mouth tape? Would you like die in your sleep if you like taped your mouth? You'd probably wake up, right?
No, I I don't have an issue with mouth breathing, but I would have less of a tendency to mouth breathe because my nose can get a bit blocked, and I've heard that's one of the symptoms with deviated septum. Your airways can, they're not as efficient as someone with a perfectly straight septum. So I'm not a mouth breather, but I would have less of an inclination to mouth breathe, if that makes sense after getting
this dude, the gaslighting in chat. It's a bit feminine being this superficial. You don't need it, bro. Like, dude. Oh man, what do you think about
That's
that?
the way the world is. Again, like I made a video talking about how people will like gaslight you if you get surgery. Like people have such a emotional negative bias towards cosmetic surgery. It's just like it just clouds everything, right?
I watched it's really interesting. I see also a lot of people talking about like self-love, and there's so many fallacies with these normies arguments and their takes. Like they'll always secretly imply that your worth is based on your face. It's, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's so interesting. I don't know. I think it's 80% of men. Women find 80% of men unattractive, and then they also are like, you shouldn't improve it. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
it's water.
There's also a bit of intrasexual competition, right? Like, it's very rare that, like at least on like my reels that went semi-viral about getting surgery. They actually the majority of the hate, like 99% of the hate on those replies were other men, not women, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is partly intrasexual competition. Like if someone's going to like extreme lengths, like relative to societal standards to improve their looks, then it kind of forces other people to up their game too, because it's like if you're willing to do that, it kind of raises the bar, right? So I think that's kind of what people are thinking subconsciously.
That's a good point. It's funny, I actually saw a reel on my feed the other day, and it was like these men getting super ascended, and they were like, the caption was like, we need to stop this, and then all the women in the comments were like, no we don't, where are they at? Like it's like, dude, because the thing is, okay, you unnaturally look better, they look at your face, and then they're still attracted at the end of the day, right? So that's all they care about. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, and like think about it from your POV, like if a girl gets like surgery, do you have any less of a boner?
No, I don't. I would consider that for having a kid though.
Yeah, you can intellectualize that.
Yeah, you can intellectualize that, but if it looks completely natural and better, then yeah, all good in terms of my attraction. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, people, firstly, I think this space is going to majorly increase over the next decade, and I think people are going to lie about it as well. Anyways, whether that's good or bad. So
you mean lie about getting
surgery? Maxing? I mean, yeah, I have friends who just got Bimax, and they just gaslit everyone about it. Yeah, like I know this guy. He says his friend group is like, bro, you look so different, bro. What happened to you? And he's like, well, what are you guys talking about? And yeah, yeah, and he started getting girls. Like it changed his life. Because he went from a bottom 5% jaw to a top 5% jaw from his Trimax. So it's like,
oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, no, people in real life, even his mom said he was more handsome. Brutal.
Well, mom knows, man. Like mom knows. There's the thing with like jaw is like if you have like a good jaw and good alignments with your bite, it is actually good for your health. Like that's the weird thing with like hard maxing and looks maxing is that a lot of the time it kind of there's like the Venn diagram is practically overlapping. Like if you have like a good jaw, like a good bite, that is better for your health. That's better for your breathing. It's not just that you look like a Chad. It's like you look like a Chad and you're healthier, right? So it's good. Good for him, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me think.
I wouldn't gaslight people, though. I wouldn't do that.
I mean, I don't know if women would really be feeling it if they knew you had surgery, Like, I don't
I've
know.
told girls, and I haven't had anyone say explicitly, "No, I don't like you because you've done surgery." I've never had that, but
Well, we
maybe
got to look
some
at
would
how
have
they
thought
behave,
that.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
How do they behave when they know?
Uh, it doesn't. I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag if they know my channel specifically. Some are like, "Oh, this is actually kind of cool. You're famous, blah blah blah," like that kind
Right.
of cringe shit, right?
Right.
But some like more like westernized girls are kind of like, "Ugh, this feels a bit incel-y." Ugh. They don't like it,
Mm.
right? But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a
No, that's
mixed
how
bag.
I was at a party last night. And I showed people my channel, and they were like, they thought I was cool. Really. Like people just see the big number and they think it's cool. You know,
Yeah.
even though the content is like probably the worst hobby for a woman to find attractive. I assume, right? Like I don't know. I think the
Well, you'd think
manosphere.
women would empathize with us a bit more. Like, they do way more looks maxing per capita than the average man. So,
That's true. That's definitely true. I think, it's interesting. Some, which I hate, is when like a girl will see my TikTok, then she'll be like, give me a rating. Give me, like, no, bro, I don't want to do that.
no,
You
never
know?
do that. Never
Yeah.
ever do. Never ever. Yeah, I wouldn't do that either. It's just
Wait.
too. It's
Okay.
too emotionally charged.
Yeah, wait, is my mic good? Is my mic like, okay. Should be fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, dude, no. I've told, like, I showed one girl and, like, she literally ghosted me after it. Um, yeah.
Dude, that happened to Wheat Waffles. He got he said he had like problems with his channel and girls finding it.
Yeah, yeah. One time Meat Waffles bought a rating for me, and he bought a rating for his girl. I'm not gonna like obviously show it, but his
Really?
girl was like a 6, honestly. Yeah, yeah. His girl mugged him. I'm gonna be honest. Sorry, Wheat Waffles. You're gonna probably see this. Sorry, bro. But I mean, I told him that. Yeah.
I think Wheat Waffles looks kind of good now. Like, I know he hides his
I
face,
haven't
but
seen his I haven't seen his transformation. I know he like dyed his hair black, right?
yes, I gave him some advice to tint his eyebrows. He did it. He
Mm.
liked it. And then he went full board and dyed his hair brown. And
Oh,
he
brown.
does look better. Yeah.
Yeah, no, his harmony was always okay. He also was like honestly like me right now. He had like chubby cheeks for his body fat. Um but yeah, no, I think like and he's like what, 5'11"? Dude,
Yeah.
I don't know, did you watch the stream between YBC Too Cold and Wheat Waffles?
Yeah, I did that while playing World of Warcraft.
Mm. Um I think like Wheat Waffles really opened my mind to like geo maxing importance, Like,
Bro, you would slay in Thailand.
yeah,
Your
but
height
there's not a
will
single
be
thing I
so
want in
crazy.
Thailand.
Huh?
There's not anything I want in Thailand though. I
You're
want
not
to
into Southeast Asian chicks?
No, not at all. I only like white girls and I only like tall white girls. And I'd rather be alone than not have one. Yeah.
I'm
And
anticipating chat saying based.
I put my location on Tinder into like Poland and Sweden, and I was actually matching with some of these girls. They look way better, dude, than here,
Oh
obviously.
yeah,
And they were tall,
yeah.
and I was actually matching with them, and I'm like, and they were talking about my height, so I'm like, damn, maybe 6'5.5" is still a halo, but I've heard those countries are super tall, so I don't know, no clue.
Poland. I think Poland is. I know like Norway. That's like the biggest height mogger country on the planet. But Poland, yeah. I would like agree. Like I would say the big three when it comes to geomaxing is Southeast Asia, Latin America, and Eastern Europe. Those are, and depending on what kind of girl you like, you kind of gravitate to one of those three. And for you, it's obviously like Poland, Ukraine.
Mm.
Well, maybe not Ukraine now, but uh, East Europe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I said it to Ukraine, and it was like no one came up, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah,
Oh God,
yeah.
they all left. They
No, no, no. It was like all like
all in London.
foreigners. I heard apparently the UK, also the UK. See again, it's always cloudy there, so that would be, I guess, good for you in your mind. But I hate it. I think it's very depressing, like very cloudy and rainy. And We Waffle says the competition in the UK is like nightmare difficulty. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd want
like
to go
in
there.
London, like if I'm like comparing like Tinder stats from like London to Bangkok, holy shit, it's like a 10x increase in matches. It's just so much harder in
But
London.
like, what girl do you want though? Like, would you settle for an MTB or something?
An MTB. I hope to attain like Chad Light in my lifetime and get a goal around that looks level. I would
An
say
MTB? Or what level? Or your looks match
Stacy
as?
Light.
Oh,
Like
okay,
I'd like
okay.
to get to Chad Light in my
I was like,
lifetime.
what is
Get a
hypergamy
Stacy
if you're
Light.
trying to get to Chad Light to get an MTB? I'm like, oh fuck. Okay, good. Good, good, good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, and do you have a racial preference?
I like Asian chicks, and I think half Asian, half white. Like at least like from my observation, um, the women are insanely like good looking. Like mixed, like Wasians, right? Like Wasian chicks look really good, and also the guys. Like anytime I see like a half European, half Thai guy here, he's like this tall mogger with abs and like good jaw structure and like speaks 10 languages, and it's just like, oh man,
Mm.
you're sweeping up here. So like I think like I know like there's like this this weird like idea about like I can't even say his name. The guy ER, like you'll
Yeah.
produce sons like ER. Like that's not what I've observed from being in Asia.
Yeah,
Hey,
that
half Asian, half white,
that
that's
guy's
kind of old.
mix was like very odd. That's not the typical. I think like the studies show Asians are actually pretty preferred. Like they're, yeah.
Yeah, they do. They do. It's like do you think like mixed race have better faces on average?
I think it wouldn't even be up to me. I think there were studies that show like people thought so, right? I don't know if I agree, but it
I'm
seems
not sure either.
it
But
seems sometimes I'll like put it very vaguely. It seems sometimes with mixed people, and this is not of any specific race, there will be certain quote unquote good features taken from each race and then the bads are left out. You know what I mean? Like it seems like there's a bigger pool of selection for traits so you could have more of the good from each. Does that make sense? Like I think that could be a
yeah,
possibility. Yeah.
yes, like the kind of like extreme features kind of even out.
It's sort of like,
Yeah.
let's say one
Yeah,
parent.
okay, let's tread lightly.
I'm not a dumb guy. This is not to do with race, by the way. This is like, I'm literally just giving
Yeah,
an
yeah.
example. Like you'll see this with just parents. One parent has like a huge nose, and then one parent has a lot of upper eyelid exposure. The kid may often get a small nose and then hooded eyes, as long as those traits were available, right? So that's all. That's all I'm saying in general about parents, not about anything
Yeah.
else. Yeah,
About parents, yeah.
parents having a kid. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I think
Then there's me. Both my parents have hooded eyes, and I have upper eyelid exposure. It makes no sense. Whatever.
oh, that's brutal, but it's a
Yeah.
solvable problem. Like I had
Yeah.
tremendous upper eyelid exposure before fat grafting.
Mm. Yeah.
It's a solvable issue.
It is. It is. That's a blessing. It's probably the best like procedure on the market. I feel like for ROI, like $1,000 to just fix your UE. What do you think?
Oh yeah, it's great. I think like if we're gonna like rate cosmetic surgeries and like a tier list, I think we gotta take into account literal cost because like you
Yeah.
know the bang for you buck the bang for buck that you can get with some surgeries is insane. Like if you fix your upper eyelid exposure, that means that's worth its weight in gold, but it's only like a few K.
Yeah.
Whereas like
Yeah.
something like limb lengthening, it's like aside from all the complications and bullshit, it's like 100K. Jesus Christ. You could do
You
so
know,
much
you know,
better
there's
with
people getting
100K,
it for
in my opinion.
20K now, to be honest. But like, I totally
Oh,
agree
wow.
with your point. I agree. Um.
Yeah. I also think genioplasty kind of mugs for the cost.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think I put that in like A or S on my tier list for ROI. Like, I think And then even though Bimax is expensive, its ROI is still so good because it's still the best surgery, I think, of all time. Yeah.
You think?
Oh yeah, I mean Bimax is so powerful. People just aren't utilizing it well. Like in most of the results you see, the surgery plan wasn't optimal, but the amount of power Bimax has is like insane, dude.
Yeah,
It's insane.
I think I've used this example. I don't know if it like, it's kind of like this Hispanic guy that had like this short face, and he got Bimax, and he just became like Chad Light from Sub 5. Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so, perhaps, yeah. Yeah, no, Bimax is like, it's just, let me think of another one like that. I would give, I mean, even like a really high ROI is like lip fat grafting. It's obviously context dependent, but you know, even buccal fat removal, like some of these are like very.
I actually did some face rating, like I recorded some video, and all the Redditors, they all had like thin upper lips, and it's just like, yeah, you could fat graft to the upper lip, and it would like ascend you guys. But if you dared to write that on Reddit, you just get downvoted to oblivion, even though it's like the most useful information they'd ever hear in their life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, common.
I don't know if you can see my stream, but
I'll check it out.
This dude, yeah, I'll just have it open. Like that is like a legit Sub 5 to.
Oh yeah, that one classic. Yeah. And I think that was with who?
Ascensions.
I forget what surgeon was that. Raffiani or was that like Ramiri? I forget.
Yeah, like Bimax can totally, like if you got short face syndrome, holy shit.
FaceIQ used to claim 6'4". I don't think I ever did. I mean, honestly, once I make my first IRL video, that'll just be put to bed. But people actually think I'm lying. But what do you call it? Rhinoplasty's best ROI? Someone said that in your chat. I don't know. It's obviously context dependent, but for men, I don't think it is based on how much it's botched. I feel.
It can get botched if someone just goes too far with thinning the nose, and because like it is obvious when you see like some Asian guy and he's got like a tiny little bean of a nose. It's like, okay, that's uncanny. But yeah, if you're smart, it can be great.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I think so. You would disagree. I actually think that like let me list off my high ROI. I would put diet number one because I think you could eat very well for like under $15, $10 a day. Then I'd put like eyebrow lash and dye tint and like minoxidil topical. Then I'd put like haircut, and then body fat, that's through diet. And then I'd put like fat grafting all over the face, low key, like to facial folds, to lips. Like I think fat grafting is so huge. What do you think? What would be your like highest ROIs?
Yeah, I'd put fat grafting and S tier or whatever because it's so versatile. It's like you can, like upper lip, under eyes, supraorbital region. Like there's so much you can do with it.
And it's literally the biggest youth indicator of all time, really.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I have a good example. I'm trying to promote it. It's just in my community. It's like a high set brow versus a high set brow, but just the true difference between the exposure of the eyelid, like how much more attractive it's making it. You know what I mean? Let me actually show this example I have real quick.
Hold on, let me open up the stream.
I can send it in Cord. Yeah, I'm live. I can just send it in the Discord. One moment. Okay, yeah, here. I just put it in in the general chat, and I'll show my stream too.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Is this
like,
the same guy?
No, that's Jared Leto versus Chico. It's just like a good example of how those eyebrows are relatively the same setedness. It's just the fat is what's making the difference, right?
The supraorbital fat, yes.
Yeah, and infras too.
I made a video about how, like guys that get like below 10% body fat, single digit, they tend to get this kind of bulging eye look, and they look sickly, and it's all due to the fat cells reducing so much that everyone gets like this Steve Buscemi eye area if they get to like 5% body fat.
Yeah, I think the studies show. I think women prefer at 13%. Is the most attractive body fat. So I kind of feel like that's a nice
women
place to
rating,
be.
man.
Yeah, for body and face, it seems 13% is the best. So like I think that 12 to 14 range, like as long as you don't have water retention, like you'll have pretty good. What's your body fat? Would you say?
Like north of 20%. I'm chubby right now.
Yeah, that's corpulent in our terms. Yeah.
Corpulent. You know, I would say like I would say I have pretty good zygos and mandible width, and I think that's why my face looks leaner than it should, right? I think like when I get back down to like 15% or so, I think, you know, I'll improve my look quite a bit, because last time I was actually lean, I you know, this is before I did surgery to my eye area, so I'm kind of interested to see what it's like with the full package and my dental palette being wider from Invisalign. I think I'm just looking forward to the future.
Yeah. I had something on my mind. I was gonna say.
Get something on your mind.
Oh yeah, I was. My face is like the worst combination to have an angular face. My zygos are really shit, and my jaw is too wide. I just have no concavity of my face, so even when I'm at like a lower body fat, it's just not that angular, unfortunately. Which is why I want zygo augmentation and then like perhaps some buccal fat. It's brutal.
So, what do you think about implants for your zygos? What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to go to this guy named Augusto Perry. He's really good at it. Or Ariel Rad. Giant implants, I don't know, man. I don't know how I'm feeling about that. Like, I think he's good if you need an OBO. Then, one moment.